What's up guys, it's the Natural here and we're back after a 2-week summer vacation that I have took. I sort of recharged, re-energized and back for the brand new season. We had the World Cup, which France are the world champions if you have been living under a rock for the past, I don't know, since the summer. So we're back with a new season, a new Premier League predictions for the 18-19 season. These are my predictions that I think who will finish first and who will finish 20th in the Premier League this season. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click on that notification bell so you know my other videos are up on the channel. So we're going to start it off with the newly promoted club that is Cardiff City. Cardiff City, who are back in the Premier League after quite a few seasons gone, with their manager Neil Warnock with his eighth promotion with another club into the Premier League. So he really knows sort of how to get teams promoted out of the Championship and into the Premier League. But I just don't think Cardiff have enough quality in the Premier League this season to stay in the Premier League. You think the next saying they brought in Jacob Murphy or Jacob Murphy. I've always get them twins wrong. I think it's Jacob Murphy from Norwich City, the brother of Jacob Murphy, who plays for Newcastle United. So it's going to be interesting to see what he can do. But is he a Premier League player? Yeah, he's had a decent pre-season, but wait and see. Bobby Reid, I'm really looking forward to see what he can do. An excellent season last season at Bristol City. So, but can he do it in the Premier League? Time will tell. But I just look at Cardiff. There's not a lot of goals in that team, and there's not a lot of real Premier League proven players. But then Huddersfield did last season. But Huddersfield, I just thought the likes of Meunier at the start of the season, last season, score goals and score. I just look at this team. They just don't have that. And for me, I think they'll finish 20th. And for me, if Neil Warnock somehow, some way keeps them in the Premier League, it's an even bigger achievement than Huddersfield staying in the Premier League. 19th will be Huddersfield Town, who remarkably stayed in the Premier League last season thanks to an unbelievable defensive structure and an incredible manager in David Wagner, who I'm a real fan of. I think you've seen last season, he really brings a different light to the Premier League. He's got an unbelievable man management. He's tactically very good as well. So I just look this season. I think it's going to be even harder this season for Huddersfield than it was last season because the new promoted clubs coming up have really strengthened their squads. Also, the bottom half of the Premier League is going to be so unpredictable this season. So for me, I just don't think it's the second season. Some new people may say definitely bought a player from Monaco. Don't really know a lot about him, but I don't think they'll stay up this season. I think they will join Cardiff in the Championship, and 19th is where I think they're finished. 18th is a team who I think are really going to struggle this season, and that is Southampton. The reason why I think Southampton are going to get relegated this season is because two things. One, they haven't really spent the Van Dijk money a lot. I mean, they're still going to rely so much on Charlie Austin for goals. Shane Long, I don't think is good enough, and Gabbiadini, is he still at the club? So the players they sold is completely ridiculous. Tadic is now at Ajax. Why would Southampton get rid of his creativity? Who they brought in? They brought in some bloke from Basel I've never heard of. They've also brought a new defender from Mission Clubback. He had an alright season last season. They have a great season, but just look at Southampton. I think Charlie Austin is just going to be huge for their goals. But then he has an injury record, so I just don't see Southampton staying in the Premier League. He also brought a new goalkeeper, a Man City player who never got a start for them. So I just don't see it. I also think Mark Hughes is now the permanent manager of Southampton. I don't think he's the man for Southampton. Yes, he kept them in the Premier League, but they just stayed in the Premier League because they beat Swansea in that sort of relegation scrap match. So I don't see Southampton staying up. I don't think they have the quality, and I think this season they will slip to the Championship and join Huddersfield and Cardiff City. 17th and just staying up is Watford, who for me, I've tipped them the last 2 seasons to get relegated. I'm not tipping this season because the reason why they don't get relegated is because they sack their manager when they have a sort of a game where you don't win a game in 6 matches like they did with Marcus Silva last season. And now you got Javi Gracia now, who was in the end of last season. I will give this man until at least November or maybe December, and he's out the door. And then they bring another manager in, and they stay in the Premier League, and the whole cycle continues at Watford. So that's the reason why they stay up. I also think Troy Deeney is still at Watford. He's going to be huge for their goals this season. But Charleston's now gone, so it's going to be interesting who brings that creative spark. Maybe Deafeli, which they made a permanent signing. He could be that, but This is a guy who went to Barcelona, Barca got rid of, then Barca signed again. So I don't really know what to make of that for you. But Troy Deeney is going to be huge for them this season. Also, I think Andre Gray will have a good season this year. I think last season it took him a couple of games to find his feet, but I think he may have a good season. But to me, Troy Deeney is going to be huge, and they'll just stay in the Premier League. 17th for them. 16th is another new promoted club I went for Wolves. Now a lot of people think Wolves are going to be fighting for the top 10, maybe even Europe. I just look at Wolves' squad. They don't have an ordinary goal scorer. They brought in Raul Neguez. I don't know a lot about. I mean, this is a man who couldn't get in the Benfica team last season, and Benfica finished second in the league to Porto, and let's just say it wasn't a great season for Benfica. So yeah, it's not a bad signing, it's not a great signing, it'd be a squad player, but I just think their main man this season is going to be Ruben Neves. Ruben Neves, who got them, who was the star in the championship. I didn't watch a lot of the championship, but I've seen his outstanding goal he scored in the championship. I think it was the championship goal this season. He's going to be absolutely vital for them to stay in the Premier League. Maybe they could aim higher. I don't think they can. I just think they don't have the striker, they don't have that sort of goal scorer in the team that I just think that other teams do. But I do think they're going to have a fantastic season. I do think 16th, maybe even higher than that is where I think they'll finish. But for me, I think they'll finish 16th because I just don't think they have a goal scorer. I think they have an excellent goalkeeper, Rui Patricio. What a signing that is. Gian Martini, what a midfielder. He's going to be so. They'll be perfectly fine this season. 16th for them. 15th, I went for Brighton. And I think they finished 15th last season, and I think they finished 15th this season because they've strengthened very well. They still kept their main players. Matty Ryan had an excellent World Cup for Australia. They've also still got Pascal Gross, who I think was their best player last season for Brighton. You also got Matt Murray. Can he sort of step up and make more goals? He scored, I think he scored 12 goals last season, 14 goals last season. I don't think he'll get the number this season, but I do think he was chipping in with goals. Esquiedo had an outstanding season last season. He's going to be the Baker crowd for them this year. Really rate him highly. But it's all down to the new record signing, the Iranian guy who they signed for PSV, the top goal scorer in the PSV for PSV last season. Is he going to chip in the goals? We'll wait and see on that one. I just think Chris Hughton's defensive organisation and structure will keep them in the Premier League again. And 15th is going to be where they'll finish. 14th. And then the last promoted club is Fulham. Now Fulham have had an outstanding summer. A couple of signings they brought in this summer. They brought in Mitrovic for 27 million, which is going to be the thing that keeps them in the Premier League because goals is going to be vital for them. He will score goals in the Premier League. May not be a lot of goals, but he was the reason why they got promoted because if Fulham had a striker and in the start of this time last season, the start of the season, they would have won the championship. He scored 12 goals in 18 games, I think it was, which is ridiculous for him. I just don't know why Rafa doesn't trust him. But he's now gone. He's now a Fulham player. He will score the goals for him. Andre Schürrle, where did he get him from? 2 years season loan deal. What a signing. If he's fully fit, he could be. They also signed Alfie Mawson. They got a new goalkeeper. They've also got a player that I cannot wait to watch this season, and Ryan Sessegnon. Everybody is tipping to be the next big thing in England. They've also got Tom Kearney, who scored the goal in the Championship playoff final against Aston Villa to get them promoted. They've got a couple of other good defensive players like Tim Reed and many others. So I think Fulham, they've really got a good coach as well, and they play some really nice, outstanding football. They're going to be perfectly fine for relegation. They're going to be my tip to all the top promoted clubs to be the top promoted club in the Premier League this season. And 14th, I think, is where they're going. 13th, I went for Burnley. And Burnley, who have had haven't got anyone the chance to win out. They've brought 2 players in. They have brought Ben Gibson and have also brought Joe Hart. So I'm going to be interested in where Joe Hart, his sort of career really went down. He went to Torino, and then he went to West Ham, flopped there big time at those 2 clubs. And now he's at Burnley, but right now, can he get in that team? We got Nick Pope, who was outstanding last season for Burnley, and you also have a good goalkeeper in Tom Heaton, who's coming back from a major injury. So it's going to be interesting where Joe Hart sort of fits in Burnley's style. Burnley will be playing Europe this season, so they have to balance European football and also Premier League football. So you're playing Thursday, Sunday, which could take time for Burnley to get used to. But I think they'll be fine for relegation this season. I think they have enough in their squad to stay up. But I don't think they're going to have the breakout season they had last season. I don't think they're going to finish 7th. I do think 13th is a respectable finish for Burnley. 12th, I went for Crystal Palace. Now, the reason why I'm tipping Palace not to have a great season this season and not a bad season this season, Zaha is the reason why. I'm doing this if Wilfried Zaha is sold. If Wilfried Zaha is sold, they'll finish 12th. if he stays, they could aim maybe 10th or 8th or something like that. I don't think they will. I think Zaha will go. Andros Townsend, if Zaha does go, Andros Townsend it will be a huge season for him this year because he now knows he has to step up. Benteke has to step up and get goals. And they signed Max Meyer, an unbelievable free transfer that is, who they got rid of Stoke City. But I do think right now, for me, I just think Palace 12th, I think, is a decent finish. They're sort of mid-table, I think they are, and they've got enough to stay in the Premier League. Where I also came in last season, I kept them up. They, for me, 12th. 11th is my club, Newcastle United. I think we're going to finish 11th this season. Rafa Benitez somehow got us 10th. I still don't know how he's done that. That's to this day is the most miracle thing I've ever seen. Newcastle now got 10th with Dwight Gale hostile out your strike force. Honestly, how he did that, I don't know. But I think 11th is going to be an alright season for us. I don't think we're going to be relegated. I don't think we're going to get a top 10. I think 11's alright because Rafa Benitez is only shafted yet again in the transfer window because Mike Ashley is a gritty little motherfucking liar. Oh, last season you can have every single player the club generates. No. Copy and paste what he did this summer and just said, Rafa Benitez, you have to wheel and deal in the transfer. Imagine telling your world-class manager you have to wheel and deal. That's embarrassing. Unbelievable. But he has brought some decent players. Kennedy, who's on loan this season. Dubravka is a permanent signing. They brought in Mutu. They're now Rondon. It's not a bad. Is it a better squad than it was last summer? Maybe, maybe not. I don't really know. But I do think 11th is where I think we'll finish. And I think this is going to be Rafa Benitez's last season at Newcastle United. If, that's a big if, Mike Ashley sells the club. Now into the top 10, and 10th I went for Bournemouth. Bournemouth, who again I think will be enough to stay in the Premier League. I think they have a great striking power of Joshua King, who I really, really highly. Jermaine Defoe, we all know, will score goals in the Premier League. Fraser he could be having a big season this year. Defensively, they still haven't really sorted out the defence. They're still running the Championship defence. They got them into the Premier League, which was about 4 seasons ago. So I'm very surprised with that. But Bournemouth, top 10, is going to be an alright season for you guys. 9th spot, I went for Leicester City. Leicester City have now sold Riyad Mahrez. Riyad Mahrez is now left as a Leicester City player because he thinks, you know what, I want to go and play for the best team, which is now Man City. He's now playing for the Premier League champions. But Leicester City, who Mahrez is now gone, Kante is now gone, Drinkwater is now gone, so the squad that they had to win the Premier League is no more. They're relying so much now, for me this season, on Jamie Vardy to score the goals this season, and I just don't think they have enough to challenge with the top 6 or even to break in that top 7 or top 8 this season. I don't think they have enough. Maybe if Harry Maguire goes, which looks like he could be rumoured to go to Manchester United, or maybe some other club, but I just think for me, Leicester, they bought some decent signings. Pereira, the Portuguese fullback, he looks a really good player, but rare prospect, but I just don't see Leicester City doing the amazing season that did two or 3 seasons ago. Demarai Gray may have a good season this year. Maybe he can prosper with Mahrez now gone. You think you want to step up this season to be the main man, but I just think Leicester, 9th, is going to be where you guys think. 8th is West Ham, who for me have been possibly the second best team in the transfer window this summer. What a season they could have this year. They spent a lot of money and they put on some quality players. Starting off with their most expensive signing of all time, Felipe Anderson, who didn't have a great season last season for Lazio. Yes, he came on and scored goals, but he wasn't really the main man. It was mainly Ciro Immobile and Mr. Sam Savage. So he sort of maybe needs a new chapter, a new sort of direction in his career really. And right now, West Ham maybe is the right choice for him. I also look at Jack Wilshere. What a free transfer that's going to be for them. That's an astounding signing for them. If you spend other players as well, but for me, their main man this season is going to be Anadovic. He's going to be the main man for this team. He was last season. He pretty much his goals kept him in the Premier League last season. Anadovic had relegated Stoke. So anyway, but I think he's going to be the main man, Anadovic, for this team. His goals, his creativity, he's got the lot. He's a Maverick type player. I don't mind Maverick players as long as they sort of be consistent, and we know which player over the years has not been doing that. He's been doing that for years, which is Zlatan. He does remind me a bit like Zlatan Anadovic. He's got that sort of chip on his shoulder. He wants to go out and improve it every game. Yeah, I think I'm a real fan of his, and I think he's going to be the main man for West Ham this season. His goals and creativity is going to bring a lot as well. We've also bought some more good players as well. Brought in Fabianski, who's pretty much the replacement for Joe Hart, who's I think is a really good goalkeeper. And Fredericks, the free transfer from Fulham. He looks a really good prospect on the fullbacks in terms of defensive structure. So And they have a new manager, Pellegrini, who won the Premier League title for Manchester City. Let's see what he can do this season. He's always one of those managers that sort of, maybe he's managed some of the biggest clubs in the world. He's managed Real Madrid, he's managed up to Manchester City obviously, and the Chilean national team. So this may be a good season for West Ham, and maybe West Ham fans can maybe get off the owner's back. But they've every right to be sort of going at their owner because they've stepped up this transfer window, and 8th spot is where I think West Ham. 7th is going to be Everton, who pretty much best of the rest, you could say, really. They've bought in some good players this season. They bought in Luka Ding from Barcelona. They've also bought in Richarlison for 40 million. Big risk for Everton, who last season spent a shit ton of money and didn't work, and including Daily Klassen, he's now at Werder Bremen. So they have a new manager this season, Big Sam, out, who's now been told to F off and go and save some other club. And now they've Marco Silva, the man they've always wanted at Everton, who plays open and attractive football, which is what Everton fans obviously wanted. And for me, 7th, I think, is a respectable position for Everton. I don't think they have a great defence. I still think defensively they may need some cover, but because there's a sort of an Asian defence now that Ashley Williams out the door, now the season on the Stoke. It's going to be interesting. They can bring a couple more in before the deadline day, but I just think 7th is a good season. I also think Sigurdsson will have a fantastic season this season, because I just think last season he just didn't really know where he was. I also think Wayne Rooney was in his way. Now he gets the number 10 shirt, and now he can go and see what he really can do for Everton. For me, 7th is going to be where they finish. Now we move on to the big 6. And starting off, who will finish 6th, I went for Chelsea, who have had a horrific summer, no doubt about it. Starting off with, they sacked Antonio Conte 2 months ago, even though you should have sacked him after the FA Cup final. Also, there's no so much going on. Is Courtois going to go to Real Madrid? Is Hazard going to go to Real Madrid? Is Kanté going to go to PSG? There's just so much scrutiny going on at Chelsea. The owner may not have enough money to spend on a new stadium. He's not allowed in England because of the visa issue. It's just a mess. And this also puts huge pressure on the new manager, that is Maurizio Sarri, who took Neri Napoli to win the Scudetto last season, but Juventus just pimped into it. But I just look at Chelsea. For me, it's just not so discontinued. They really are just a mess. They are just a mess right now. And for me, 6th, I think, is the best what they can do. If they're going to get top 4 next, if they're going to have any chance of getting the Champions League next season, for me, Chelsea, and as they have to win the Europa League to get top 4, to get Champions League football, and it could happen, it may not happen, but I just don't see anything going on at Chelsea. Mr. Sarri got a huge job in his hands, and for me, 6th is, I think, where they're going to finish. 5th is going to go to Arsenal, who finally, for the first time in 20-something years, have a new manager in Unai Emery. So interesting what he could do at Arsenal this season. He's brought in new players, some players that need out of the door, which he's got rid of, obviously. I'm going to start off with one of the new signings they brought in, and the signings that I'm really looking forward to watching. That is Lucas Torreira, who had an outstanding World Cup for Uruguay. He looks like one of those really warrior type players in that midfield, which Arsenal have been crying out for years. I think he's going to have an outstanding. He looks a real player, and for the price they've done, that's an absolute steal. They finally brought in a defender in Socrates from Borussia Dortmund. They've also got a goalkeeper in Bernd Leno. Didn't have a great season at Bayer Leverkusen last season, but he's definitely a better upgrade. He's definitely an upgrade on Petr Cech and Ospina. And they've got Aubameyang for a full season. Can Aubameyang and Lacazette work as a partnership? That's going to be interesting to watch this season. I think they can. I mean, just go play both of them. They both, I think, can read each other's game. I think Aubameyang's got pace. Lacazette's more of a target man. I think it could work. It really could work. And Mesut Ozil, we keep on of it. He had a horrific World Cup. He's now retired from the German national team due to quite a lot of off-field antics, you could say. And he's now sort of focused. He's now in number 10 for Arsenal. And can he fluster under Unai Emery? I think he can. He's dealt with big egos at PSG. He's dealt with likes of Cavani, the likes of Neymar, the likes of Mbappe, the likes of Di Maria. I think he can. I think Arsenal could have a good season this year. But to get in that top 4, I just don't see it. I just think they don't have enough in terms of that defence just to get top 4. But I do think they have a good season. And Unai Emery he's building a project at Arsenal. So you won't see the best of this Arsenal team for maybe another couple of seasons. Fifth. Top four. Who I went for fourth? Manchester United. Why did I not tip Man United to be high up the league? Simple reason why. Mourinho has been moaning and groaning for the whole summer. He's not happy at Man United. He's not happy with the signings he signed, even though he spent over 50 million on Fred, even though he spent a new goal, he bought a new defender in Danlot, and he's also went and bought a goalkeeper. So, and they also look like to bring in Harry Maguire in. And it looks like maybe getting William. So I don't see, to be honest, look at Manchester United's squad. They got Lukaku, they got Marcus Rashford, they got Jesse Lingard, who's an outstanding World Cup for England. You've also got Paul Pogba, who's a World Cup winner. You've also got Lindelof, who's an excellent World Cup for Sweden. Dalde is one of the best goalkeepers in the world. And you've got a really talented squad. I don't know why you're complaining, because just go out and just show it. I mean, it's one club that should be complaining in the transfer window. It's Tottenham or Newcastle or any other clubs in Europe. Not you, mate. You're playing for you're the biggest club in the world. You're managing the biggest club in the world. Go out and just be happy instead of moaning and groaning in press conferences. Just go out and show it. For me, I'm telling you right now, I'd be shocked if Jose Mourinho was the manager of Manchester United come 2019. I don't think he is Man United good. I don't think he's good enough for Man United anymore. And for me, Rangers under huge pressure this season. Top four is I think fourth where they finish. They could even finish lower than that if it's a horrific season. I don't think they're good enough to win the Premier League. I don't think they're good enough to win challenge in the Premier League this season because Mourinho does not play attacking football. And for me, they'll have to Man United players pretty much went out the door. So for me, it's not good for Man United. Top fourth is where I think. Third, Spurs. And they have pretty much spent nil points in the whole entire transfer window. They've bought no players in whatsoever, but they've kept their core players. They kept Eriksen, Dele Alli, Harry Kane, Hugo Lloris, Kieran Trippier, who's outstanding in the World Cup, and also that midfield as well, in terms of discipline, Ari Dyer and Dembele and Victor Wanyama. So they've really kept that core. I think Lucas Moura made a good season this year. He sort of was through in the deep end in the giant transfer window. Eric Lamela is back from a huge injury. See what he can offer this season. And Son, who had an outstanding season last season for Tottenham. Yeah, not a bad World Cup, but not a great World Cup. Scored a really good goal. But their main man is going to be Harry Kane again. The goals he scored last season, can he do it again this season? I think he can. But the problem with this Tottenham team, can they challenge for that title? I just don't see it. They're going to a brand new stadium this season. It's going to take a couple of games to acclimatise to that. So for me, third is going to be where they finish. Which just leaves the top two. And this was the most difficult one to pick. Out of all the teams, this was the most difficult. Liverpool or Man City. Pretty much, I think everybody's picked between these two teams to finish first or second. For me, City will finish second, which means Liverpool in the league. I'm going Man City to finish second this season because I just feel they brought on, looking around, they have an unbelievable squad. The best squad, possibly, not just in the Premier League, maybe in Europe. But I just look at City. Do they have that same hunger, that same drive, that same desire to do the next season? Do you remember the season they did in the Premier League? They won the league and they didn't have that same heart and desire. That's the only thing that's the question mark, that City team. Do they have that fight and hunger for doing this season? I don't know, and that's the only thing questioning me about it. Because they may put the eggs in the Champions League basket, maybe not the Premier League basket, so that's one. But they've got an unbelievable squad. We all know De Bruyne is one of the best fit players in world football. They got Aguero, they got Sané, who I do not understand, do not get in that Germany squad. I do not know. And they've got an unbelievable defence. Midfield wise, they're just drop of talent. But do they have that fight, hunger, desire? That would be questions. So that's the reason why I tipped Liverpool to win the league this year, is because of that, and because Liverpool, I think, have been the best in terms of bringing in the players that they want. I think they won the transfer window for me in this summer. What signings they brought in? They brought in Keita, what a midfielder he could be. They brought in Fabinho, who can play fullback, centre back, or even mid in defence midfield. They've got that mid lockdown. They brought in Shaqiri, who literally is just a worldy player. He can do something there or nothing, like he did against Manchester United in the pre-season tournament, scoring an overhead kick. They finally got a good defence. Van Dijk's going to be here he's got a full season under his belt. They've on the high from the Champions League. Yes, they lost the Champions League with Real Madrid, but they're on a high. There's so much positivity going on with Liverpool at the start of this season. They finally got a goalkeeper in Alisson, who is world class. He had an outstanding season in Roma. He didn't have a bad World Cup. Just Brazil pretty much just let Neymar literally dive all over the pitch. But I think this Liverpool team look a real fucking deal. And maybe people may say they may need centre back just to win, centre back to win the league. Hey, they got Dejan Lovren. He said he's the best defender in the world. So I really do like this Liverpool team this season. I think Jurgen Klopp plays the best football in terms of I love watching Jurgen Klopp. If it wasn't for Rafa Benitez and Newcastle United, he's my favourite manager in watching the Premier League. I absolutely adore the guy. But for me, I think it's Liverpool's year this year. I really do like their team. I really do like their squad. And there's so much positivity going into the season. Unlike Man United and unlike Chelsea, I think Liverpool will win the Premier League this season. Big statement, but I am tipping them to win the league. I think they'll be champions come May. So guys, that's the end of my Premier League predictions for the 18-19 season. What do you guys think? Do you guys disagree with me? Have them put in the comments down below, and also put in the comments what's your predictions for the Premier League this season. Anyway, please like, subscribe, The Natural. Peace out.